The teasers dropped, the fandom went silent.
Totally silent.
In an instant, the entire K-pop world was turned upside down. I mean, Paris was a lie, or at least the polished photos didn't tell the whole truth.
They really didn't.
You saw the pristine Getty images flooding your timeline. BTS Jin looking like flawless royalty, radiating confidence as he carried the Olympic flame through the streets of France.
The visuals were just insane.
But what you didn't see was the terrifying reality of balancing a highly flammable 1.5-kilogram metal cone fighting off sheer panic.
And trying to suppress the urge to do a gag dance to a viral song about a tuna fish blasting from a fan truck.
Today, we expose what really happened to BTS Jin. Welcome to StarScope K-Report. Join Eric and Minji as they ride the Hallyu wave, uncovering the biggest K-pop comebacks, shocking industry controversies, and major K-drama updates. From internet-breaking rumors to historic chart milestones, we dive deep into the world of Korean entertainment.
We are so thrilled to have you with us, so for you listening right now, get comfortable, because we are taking a massive deep dive into a huge stack of sources today.
Oh yeah, we've got a lot to cover.
We've been analyzing on-the-ground reports from the Times of India, Star News, Pink Villa, L'Officiel, NV Media, and parsing through hours of incredible behind-the-scenes YouTube footage.
Our mission today is to extract the absolute truth behind Jin's historic July 2024 takeover of Paris.
Right.
We are pulling back the curtain on those heavily sanitized media moments to understand the very real, very human chaos of what actually went down on the streets of France.
It is so chaotic.
We have to start our timeline on Bastille Day, July 14th, 2024.
A huge day.
Yeah, this isn't just any day. It's the French National Day. It's an incredibly highly secured, globally broadcast holiday.
Literally the biggest stage possible.
Exactly. And the world watched Jin carry the Olympic flame 200 meters from the Rivoli Street intersection to Carousel Square.
Which is quite literally the heart of historical Paris, right by the Louvre.
Yeah.
And I mean, the sheer scale of the visuals that day was staggering. He stepped out looking immaculate, projecting this aura of total serenity.
He looks so calm.
But the physical reality of that moment, like the mechanics of what he was actually doing, was intensely stressful.
Oh, for sure.
According to the official behind-the-scenes footage provided by the Olympic Committee, that sleek metallic torch he was carrying weighed 1.5 kilograms.
Right, and I think people hear 1.5 kilograms and assume it's light, like a small dumbbell.
Yeah, like no big deal.
But we have to factor in the physics and the stakes of the object. Before he even steps out into the sunlight, Jin is given these genuinely terrifying safety instructions from the Olympic officials.
They did not sugarcoat it.
Not at all. The footage shows them explicitly warning him, like, the bottom of the torch is ice cold, the top is incredibly hot, and if you accidentally touch the upper section while walking, you will get severely burned.
Oh my gosh, the anxiety on his face in that moment is palpable.
I can't even imagine.
He is essentially holding a live fire hazard while wearing thousands of dollars of pristine clothing.
Think about it like holding a 1.5 kilogram flaming pineapple perfectly still.
A flaming pineapple, exactly.
You have to grip it with one hand at a highly specific photogenic angle while the entire world and millions of eagle-eyed fans analyzing your micro-expressions watches your every single step.
No pressure, right?
None at all. And if your grip slips, you drop a historic flame, disrupt an international relay, and become a meme for the rest of eternity.
What's deeply fascinating here is how the behind-the-scenes footage completely deconstructs his untouchable global superstar persona.
Yeah, he's so human in it.
We see him pacing in the halls of the Louvre, visibly nervous, asking the security officials in complete seriousness, am I allowed to hold it with two hands?
He was terrified of dropping it.
He was desperately looking for any way to minimize the risk.
You also see him trying to self-soothe before the walk even begins. The French hosts gifted him this giant classic croissant.
Oh, the croissant moment was so cute.
Right, and he is just nervously eating it, repeating the word delicio over and over in broken French to calm his nerves.
That's a beautifully vulnerable moment.
It really is, especially when you contextualize the timeline of his life at that exact moment. This was his very first major global appearance since finishing his mandatory military hiatus.
The emotional whiplash of that timeline cannot be overstated.
Oh, totally.
I mean, he was officially discharged from the military on June 12th. He'd been completely removed from the celebrity sphere.
Living a totally different life.
Yeah. And the very next day, on June 13th, he was thrown straight back into idol life, hosting a highly emotional event where he physically hugged 1,000 fans.
And then, barely a month later, He is carrying the Olympic flame on a global stage.
So fast.
Because of that massive Sutter spotlight, the internet naturally did what it does best. It started swirling with theories.
Oh, the rumors were flying everywhere.
Netizens and international fans immediately started debating the logistics of how a recently discharged Korean pop star ended up representing the Paris Olympics.
Like, how does that happen?
Right. A major narrative formed across social media that the South Korean government had funded this entire appearance as a state PR stunt to project national power.
Which is a common assumption, given how heavily South Korea utilizes its cultural exports.
Sure, it makes sense on paper.
But if we look at the verified reporting from the Times of India, alongside official statements from IOC member Yoo Sung-min, the government was entirely uninvolved in the selection process.
We always stick to impartial reporting of the sources here, and the sources confirm this was a completely corporate maneuver.
Purely corporate.
Jin was officially endorsed and positioned by Samsung Electronics. As a massive, long-standing, top-tier Olympic partner, Samsung had the contractual power to recommend public relations ambassadors.
And they chose Jin.
Exactly. They selected Jin because they argued his personal spirit aligned with the Olympic values. So it was a legitimate corporate sponsorship, not a state-funded diplomatic operation.
The irony, though, is that while the corporate machinery of a tech giant got him to Paris, it was the fandom that violently disrupted the corporate atmosphere.
Oh, completely disrupted it.
They dictated the actual energy of the day.
The atmosphere shifted entirely. But if you think the weight of the torch was the wildest part of this relay, you won't believe what fans unleashed on the streets of Paris.
It was so iconic.
If you love staying updated on your bias, make sure you're subscribed to StarScope K Report. We've got even bigger scoops ahead.
Because here is where the story shifts from a tense, highly regulated diplomatic event into a uniquely K-pop phenomenon.
Set the scene for us.
Okay, picture the scene. Jin has digested his emotional support croissant.
Yeah.
He's got his grip on the torch.
Yeah.
He steps out of the Louvre, surrounded by a phalanx of heavy security and French police.
Very serious vibes.
Right.
Yeah.
Given the gravity of the Olympics, you would expect the atmosphere to feature majestic, soaring orchestral anthems.
Something historically grand befitting the architecture of Paris.
Instead, a massive fan truck parked right on the relay route is absolutely blasting Super Tuna.
I still cannot believe this actually happened.
It's incredible.
For anyone outside the fandom who might be confused, Super Tuna is Jin's incredibly silly trot-style solo track about fishing.
It's literally a viral gag song.
It is the furthest thing from an Olympic anthem, and suddenly this bouncy, chaotic fishing song is echoing off the ancient glass of the Louvre.
And you can watch Jin's stoic Olympic persona completely fracture.
Totally break down.
He flashes this huge, radiant smile. He does this shy little clap that fans immediately dubbed the hamster clap.
I saw that.
And you can literally see his shoulders twitching as he fights his own muscle memory to prevent himself from doing the actual choreography of the song while holding the flame.
I really have to step back and play devil's advocate here, though.
Go for it.
When I first read about this in the sources, I genuinely struggled with the optics. French traditionalists were actually furious on social media, arguing that blasting a viral meme song about catching a fish cheapens a 2,000-year-old Olympic tradition.
Yeah, I saw those comments.
It's a solemn event representing global unity and peace. Does an act like this show a severe lack of decorum? Does it turn a historic moment into a circus?
That is a very valid critique, and it's exactly what traditional media commentators argued.
Right.
But if we analyze the mechanics of global fandoms, this moment is actually the ultimate display of the Hallyu wave and South Korea's soft power.
How so?
Well, traditional Western celebrity culture is fundamentally vertical. It's tapped down.
Okay.
The star is on a pedestal, acting as an untouchable deity, and the audience just watches reverently in silence.
They observe, but they don't participate.
Precisely. But K-pop has engineered a highly horizontal, reciprocal parasocial relationship.
That makes sense.
The fans weren't mocking the Olympics by playing Super Tuna. They knew Jin was likely terrified, fresh out of the military, holding a heavy fire hazard on a global stage.
Because it was about supporting him.
Yes. By blasting that song, they brought him into a highly intimidating space, using a shared inside language that made him feel safe. They effectively took a stuffy, corporate diplomatic event and transformed it into a family reunion.
When you unpack the psychology of it like that, it changes the lens completely.
Doesn't.
It's not disrespect, it's an evolution of how modern global culture interacts with these ancient institutions. The fans were essentially offering him a safety net.
And this specific manifestation of soft power, where European fans feel empowered to blast Korean trot music outside the Louvre, didn't just happen overnight.
No, it's a long time coming.
The cultural groundwork was laid over a decade ago. We can trace this specific European foothold all the way back to 2011, when SM Entertainment held the very first SM Town concert in Paris.
That 2011 concert was a massive, unprecedented gamble.
It really was.
At that time, K-pop was still heavily regional, focusing mostly on Japan and Southeast Asia. European audiences were seen by Korean executives as an impenetrable market.
Because Western pop completely dominated.
Exactly. But SM Entertainment booked La Zenith Arena anyway, and the tickets sold out in 15 minutes.
15 minutes? That's insane.
It caused such a frenzy that hundreds of French fans organized a literal flash mob outside the Louvre, dancing to Super Junior and Girls' Generation, demanding a second date.
That flash mob proved to the Korean agencies that Europe was a viable, passionate market.
It really did.
It laid the runway. Fast forward to the 2024 Olympics, and South Korea didn't just send athletes. They capitalized on that 13-year foundation by setting up a massive Korea house in Paris, integrating huge HYBE label mates into their national footprint.
Right, I remember seeing that.
We saw 17 subunit BSS performing. We saw TXT making appearances. They fully weaponized K-pop as a diplomatic tool.
Yet, despite representing this massive, decade-long cultural buildup, Jin remained remarkably grounded.
He really did.
Pink Villa translated his reflections on the event, and his humility is striking. He explicitly stated, "I am not an athlete or someone representing my country. Army made it possible." He completely stripped away his own ego and credited the fandom entirely for putting him in that honorable position.
He even shared his one major regret from the walk, which highlights just how focused he was.
What was it?
He said he was so nervous about the mechanics of the walk that he never actually glanced up to look at the flame itself.
No way, he never looked at it.
Yeah, he just dusted it off saying, "That's too bad, you always have regrets," but it emphasizes that he was hyper-fixated on simply not messing up.
But, you know, the soft power demonstrated on the streets of Paris was really just the prelude.
Oh, for sure.
The economic power that unfolded inside the stadium and within the high-fashion houses just days later proved that Jin's post-military comeback is an absolute commercial juggernaut.
Unstoppable. And that's not even the wildest part of his Paris takeover. Wait till you hear what netizens uncovered from his Stad de France concerts just days later.
The transition from the streets to the stage was seamless.
It really was. And before we dive into the stadium numbers, it's important to clarify the terminology here.
Okay, let's break it down.
While Jin's new solo tracks were achieving an actual, literal all-kill on the domestic Korean charts, hitting #1 simultaneously on major streaming platforms like Melon, Genie, Bugs, and Flow, he was pulling off a different, but equally massive kind of cultural dominance in Paris.
Let's look at the BTS ARIRANG World Tour at the Stad de France, July 18th and 19th, happening right after the torch relay.
Just days later.
We are talking about an audience of 92,000 attendees per night. The sheer scale is breathtaking.
And amidst that massive scale, there was a viral fan moment during the first night that perfectly encapsulates why this group commands such intense loyalty.
Oh, I know what you're going to talk about.
During the performance of the track jump, Jin was hyping up the crowd and splashed some water into the standing section.
Like they always do at concerts.
Right. But seconds later, his entire demeanor changed. He completely froze, realizing he might have accidentally made a fan uncomfortable or ruined their phone.
Without a second of hesitation, he stopped his performance, dropped into a deep 90-degree bow, and began apologizing repeatedly.
Which is huge.
For context, in Korean culture, a full 90-degree bow is a sign of the utmost respect and deep apology.
Absolutely.
Seeing a global superstar drop into that posture in the middle of a stadium set, prioritizing a single fan's comfort over the flow of the concert is incredible.
He maintained that bow until the army and the crowd actively shouted and reassured him that everyone was okay.
That's so sweet.
He chose genuine empathy over keeping up a polished pop star facade. And later in that same show, during army time, when the cameras pan across the audience, he appeared on the giant screens holding a physical sketchbook.
What did it say?
The handwritten message was, "Thank you, Paris. See you, Army."
It's those hyper-personal, tangible gestures that cement the parasocial bond.
It really is.
But while the emotional connection was peaking in the stadium, a massive financial shift was happening in the background.
Let's talk about the money.
The brand deals dropping around this time revealed the true ROI, the return on investment of K-pop influence. On July 8th, just days before the torch relay, NV Media reported that Jin was named the global ambassador for Maison Ferret, a massive French heritage jeweler.
Yes, and he was immediately photographed modeling their Force 10 pink and white gold bracelets and necklaces.
Such a good look for him.
And then, looking at the stage outfits at the Stade de France, he was performing in custom Gucci. Star News officially reported on his new status as the face of Gucci.
To understand why 100-year-old European luxury houses are bending over backwards to sign these artists, you have to look at the conversion rates.
The numbers don't lie.
When a traditional Western celebrity models a necklace, their fans might like the photo on Instagram. When a K-pop idol models a necklace, the fandom treats purchasing that item as an act of loyalty to their bias.
They buy everything.
They will literally clear out the global stock of a $3,000 piece of jewelry in a matter of hours to prove their idol's commercial worth. European heritage brands are desperate for that level of guaranteed financial conversion.
Which is why the fashion strategy for the entire group on this tour was impeccably calculated.
But it wasn't just Jin.
No, we saw Jimin dressed as a global ambassador for Dior, V wearing custom Celine, J-Hope decked out in Louis Vuitton, and the group's maknae, Jungkook, absolutely dominating in custom Balenciaga.
It's like a Fashion Week runway on stage.
The synergy between high-end European fashion houses and Korean pop culture has reached a saturation point.
And the French media fully capitulated to this reality. You cannot ignore the numbers, and you cannot ignore the passion.
You really can't.
France's largest weekly magazine, Paris Match, published a sprawling piece on this cultural takeover. They officially dubbed Jin le Petit Prince de Paris, the Little Prince of Paris.
For a historic French publication to use that title is staggering.
They didn't stop there. They explicitly called him, and I quote, the true prince crowned after 235 years since the French Revolution.
Oh my gosh.
They acknowledged his absolute cultural royalty. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss a KT update as we follow the ARIRANG Tour to MetLife Stadium in New Jersey next.
Hearing all of this laid out, like the anxiety of the torch, the emotional vulnerability in the stadium, the calculated fashion dominance, it really brings us back to what you said at the very beginning of our deep dive.
About Paris being a lie.
Yeah, the polished Getty images of Jin holding that torch at the Louvre. They were a highly sanitized version of the truth.
They completely erased the human struggle. The truth wasn't a pristine, untouchable god descending from the heavens to bless the Olympics.
Right.
The truth was a young man, fresh out of a grueling military deployment, terrified of dropping a 1.5-kilogram fire hazard,
Nervously eating a croissant to calm his stomach.
and fighting the urge to do a silly dance to a fishing song because his fans wanted to make him smile.
And that messy, beautiful human reality is infinitely more powerful than any polished corporate facade.
I completely agree.
Which leaves you, the listener, with a final, fascinating thought to mull over. If a pop entertainer can draw more global passion, more genuine unity, and more raw economic power to an Olympic torch relay than traditional athletes or career politicians, are we entering an entirely new era?
That's a great question.
An era where pop culture figures hold the ultimate diplomatic soft power.
It fundamentally reshapes the way nations project their influence. It really makes you wonder who will be the next artist to carry the flame for their country and how it will change the way the world communicates.
You've been listening to StarScope K-Report, where Eric and Minji bring you the story of shaping K-pop, K-dramas, and the global Hallyu wave. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.